Hey, hey, Happy New Year to you. Am I still allowed to say Happy New Year because it's 19th of January? But I'm going to go ahead and wish you a Happy New Year. And I hope your year started well and all you have manifested will finally come to fruitful by the end of the year. So if you're new here, my name is Judy, Adventures of Judy. I am a Kenyan Norwegian who lives in Norway. And today, 19th of January, marks 10 years of me living in Scandinavia. And when I say Scandinavia, because I have lived in Sweden and I'm now living in Norway. So hey, today I just wanted to share my how my life has been here for the last 10 years because I also see there's a trend going on social media of 2016, 10 years, where were you, what are you doing, and all that. So for me, I'm going to take you through how my life has been since I moved from Kenya to Sweden and then from Sweden to Norway. So a day like today, 19th of January, I packed two bags. One bag was full of shoes. I love shoes. I buy shoes. I am a shoe collector. And another bag was just different things, but mostly clothes. Then I boarded a plane, yeah. But before that, I was taken by my mom, my sister, brother, and a friend, and they wished me goodbye at Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. And I still remember that day like yesterday. I still remember waving to them through the window, and I was feeling really optimistic. Like, you know, that feeling you're going to meet somebody you love, but you're also going to another country with a different culture where you don't know what is on the other side. It was my first international flight, my first time leaving Kenya to travel far away because I had lived in Tanzania before, but now this time I was leaving the country of Africa to a different country in Europe. So then I reached my destination was Gothenburg, Sweden. I landed there at 8 o'clock, and there was somebody waiting for me. My lovely husband was there waiting for me. And I remember arriving to the airport, and it was quite cold. I was not prepared for the weather. I was just wearing a normal blue jeans and a t-shirt, and then I just a sweater from Nairobi, just which passes for Nairobi weather. But then when I landed there, it was winter. It was quite cold. The snow was everywhere and all that. So I remember I took with myself a Masai shuka, so I just wrapped it on my shoulders. And people looking at me, and I was like, okay, what's going on? Probably they were just looking at me because of the Masai shuka. It's quite popular, and most people who have traveled to Kenya or even now I see it in other European destinations, this Masai Shuka, it's quite popular. So once I reached to Sweden, my life started there. The good thing I was with my husband. So, and another thing, we got married. We have not lived together, so we are going to start marriage life together. And of course, I was excited. I was happy. Everything was going we were going to cultivate and see how things are going to work out. And I'm just so lucky that I met nice people so soon when I moved to Sweden. I met some Kenyans, some friends, and they really did help me a lot cultivating around Gothenburg, where to buy the food I wanted, what to do, where to go, where to how to even find a job. They even finally helped me when I had my resident permit to get a job, and I think I was just lucky to be in the right place at the right time. Imagine just walking outside and just somebody randomly just starts talking to you, and through this person you meet some people who also help you go through to another level. So yeah. So my life in Sweden, I had to study a Swedish language, and then I had to work. Where I was working, the language was really not so needed like that. But I also just wanted to learn the language so I could get to understand people around me better, because in Sweden they speak Swedish language, but they also speak English. But mostly, you know, in a country where people have first language, they are going to prefer their first language in their country. So if you're going to live there for a long time, like you're not visiting, you are going to live there, you need to learn the local language. So I did a little of that. Then for some time, then we moved back to Norway, where I also started again from the ground. I also had to go back to language school, which was almost 2 years. It was during Corona, and during this time I was also I was pregnant, and I became pregnant both of my pregnancies at this time, before Corona started until the end of Corona. So I am a mom of two. So we just chose this time because people were at home, and I thought instead of waiting, I could just do it. By the time the world is opening up, I am done with this process. Then when the world opened, I went back to school. I finished my Norwegian language. Then I started working, and then once I started working, I learned that I had a different hobby that I never knew. I learned that I care for people, and I want to work for people and with people. And so I had to register to school again to get even more education, and I did that. So the process of 10 years went so quick by that I even look around, I look back and I'm like, wow, it went so fast. It really went so fast. For me, it feels like 5 years, but I'm here and it's 10 years, and and I can't believe it. But things have gone so fast. So if you're moving abroad, especially to Europe, because most of European countries, they have their national language, which is different from English. English is spoken just in the UK, and it's being spoken in these other countries as second language, but it's not the primary language. So you are going to take time to learn the language. And also another thing, with our certificates from our third world country, most countries here in Europe, they do not recognize them. So you might find yourself in a situation that you have to go back to school, or you have to even start a new career, or you have to even change, you have to further have more education at the university or something like that. But one thing, you are going to go back to school. It doesn't matter what you are going to learn. If you go to a non-speaking English country, you are going to go back to school to learn the local language, because many things are required. The language is required if you are applying for residence permit, permanent residence permit, or if you are applying for citizenship. You must have a level of language that is required. Also, from there, you are going to look for jobs. Some people get job easily, some people it really takes time. It really, really takes time for some, but some people decide to do the non-skilled jobs. But non-skilled jobs, really, after some time, they wear you out. They're not easy jobs. They're jobs that you use a lot of they're physical job, use a lot of strength, a lot of your body. They're so heavy jobs. So with 5, 6 years, they tear you out, they wear you out, and you start thinking of, probably if you would have gone to school and specialized in on something professionally, you'd have gotten a good job. But one thing I'm going to tell you, that here in Europe, if you have the right papers of education, you will get the job, that type of job you're looking for. And then another challenge that I've faced here is the weather. It's quite cold. Most Nordic countries are very cold. They're really cold. I was not really prepared for that. Especially in Norway, it is quite cold. It's the winter. They say it's December, January, February, but for me, I believe it's more than that. For me, I think winter is like 8 months in Norway. It's quite cold in Norway. So dealing with that weather, it takes time. Even now I've lived here, but it's really cold. It's still cold for me. Another challenge that I have gone through this 10 years is social life. I live in the countryside of Norway, but I don't know people who live in the city how it is to them. Probably it might be different for them, because most international people lives in the cities, so probably getting to know people from other cultures is not so challenging like somebody who lives in the countryside like me. For me, here where I live, it's not easy to mingle with people, it's not easy to make friends. In the 10 years, I can still say I do not have Norwegian friend. I know them. I say hi to them. I meet them, but I cannot say they are my friends. I don't know if they can also call me a friend, because the type of friendship I know that I grew up with in Kenya is different. A friend for me is somebody I can visit anytime I am free, somebody I can call at any time, somebody if I was sick, I will call them and they will show up immediately. Somebody if I am in a problem, I can show up at their door and I can spend a night there. I do not have such friendship here in Norway. And this is something that even people I know who are international people lives here also have this kind of problem. So it's not only me. So these are the challenges I have faced within the 10 years I've lived here. And probably if you're planning to come here, probably you will have a different view. And these are my views, these are my experience in Norway. So probably what I have experienced is not what the other person will experience, okay? And another thing, Norway is quite expensive. Norway is expensive. My mother, who was here visiting 3 years ago, not so sure, she even noted every time you are going to the shop and buying stuff, she was always looking, and oh, she said Norway was expensive. It is. You are going to get a job, you're going to get good salary, you're going to earn very good salary, but you're going to use all that money back. So yeah, it leaves you in like, why the need of earning so high salary, but you are also using all of it. And then the things I love about Norway or Scandinavia is the free education. Through going back to school, moving here, I have also managed to go back to school, and I have earned a different education level that if I was in Kenya, I would have used a lot of money to do, because in Kenya we have public universities, you get a loan, and it's not everybody who can go to that level. But here in Norway, everybody can go back to school, you can learn anything, and it's you can get a loan just for sustaining yourself, not for the college fee. It's free, just some small money registration, but it's very small that you cannot say it's a college fee. So here you will have an opportunity of going back to school until the level you want. And you will also have job opportunities. Getting a job, if you have the right papers, the right qualifications, is not difficult like it was in my country back in Kenya. So yeah, that is my experience. And would I move back to Kenya? Yeah, I will. If I have the right job with the salary I have here in Norway, back in Kenya, I will pack all my bags and move back to Kenya. Why? Because of social life and the weather and the food. Yeah. But for now, I will just enjoy Norway and just cope with it like that, and maneuver everything around and continue living. So if you live in Scandinavia, we can interact all the time. If you are planning to move to Scandinavia, you can always ask me any question in the comment section. And if you are new here, please just click on the link of subscription. It doesn't take too long. Comment, let's interact in the comment section and share the videos. And thank you so much for watching, and let's meet on the next video. Bye for today. Bye bye.